My name is Sean. I'm a dance instructor.
And how old are you?
I am now 34.
Really?
Yeah.
God, you look amazing.
Oh, thank
Despite
you.
all you've been through. Describe how you were before the whole onset of Gardasil.
Well, I danced every day for 5 or more hours. I was always in classes, teaching. I was dancing full out, auditioning. I had an agent. Just dance consumed my entire world.
How good was she, Mummy?
Excellent. She used to fly through the air.
I was just having my yearly checkup with my gynecologist, who I actually adored. My gynecologist, she was just very personable, and I thought she had a great personality. And so she's like, oh yeah, there's this new thing, it's for HPV prevention. And I 100% trusted her. Like I said, I really enjoyed who she was as a human, and I didn't even think twice. She seemed awesome, and so...
And you're 26?
I was 26 at the time. I didn't think twice about it, and she was like, yeah, you'll take 3 shots. It'll be over the next, year about, and you won't ever get cervical cancer. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Sure, let's do it. I got the shot, I think it was about February, and
Have you got
February 22nd, 2008
Yep.
was the first shot.
The biggest problem with the Gardasil shots and me putting 2 and 2 together is because I was a dancer, and because we're always pushing our bodies to the limits, and I was sore all the time, or I would get weird pain. I never really thought oh, this is exactly from the Gardasil shot. But when I look back at it, it was very clear that, well, first of all, I had never had any issues with my body at all. I had never had acne a day in my life. I was one of those freak children who just as a teenager got really lucky, and all of a sudden I started breaking out with some crazy acne in my cheeks. I remember my doctor came to me and was like, you have a thyroid issue. And I was like, no. She was like, yeah, do you feel lethargic? Do you feel always tired, this, that, the other? And I was like, no, I don't feel any of those things. She's like, well, your numbers came back like this. And I was like, test me again, because I didn't want to just take a pill if it wasn't, absolutely necessary. And sure enough, my numbers came back even worse than they had.
When you say numbers, what are you talking about?
It was for a thyroid. I had hypothyroidism. So they said that my thyroid was too slow, but it's not like I had put on weight or anything. So I didn't believe them. And then again, I didn't think that a vaccination could cause my body to go into disarray. And I just thought, I was getting older, maybe something was going on. Maybe I had heard about, adult acne. So I was like, maybe I got lucky not having it in high school, but maybe I do have it now as an adult. So I just didn't put the puzzle pieces together as to cause and effect. And I just kind of went through, and I was getting traveling pain in my joints. So one day I'd wake up and my shoulder would be excruciating, and I couldn't really move it. But again, I just shocked it off to oh, I danced really hard, I had rehearsal, maybe I just did something in it, and it would last a couple days, and then it would be in my hip, or my hands would tingle a little bit. And so definitely I started to think something was going on, but I never was oh, I got that Gardasil.
This is just after the first.
Yeah, it started right after the first.
And did it affect your dance at all at this point?
At that point, no. It was enough to be painful and annoying, and maybe it would affect I wouldn't go to class as much. On my days off, I would try to rest and get rid of the pain, but it wasn't as dramatic as it turned out to be. Second shot was in September
5th, 2008.
2008, same year. I don't even know if I saw her the second time, actually. I think it might have just been a nurse or somebody, because they were just, putting a shot in my arm and sending me on my way. I don't think I needed another test or anything, because I had already had my yearly.
And so how are you feeling after your second one?
I don't have any recollection of specifically getting the shot and then feeling terrible, but I just remember the entire 2-3 years of just always being in weird pain and not really knowing. I started writing down what I was eating every single day, because something clearly wasn't right. So I started writing down what I was eating, how much sleep I was getting, where the pain was, how, on a scale of 1 to 10 was the pain excruciating. It would be in my fingers, my right big toe. At one point I thought I had gout, just weird things. And then I went to a rheumatologist, and he said that he was not convinced that I had rheumatoid arthritis, because I only had part of the markers. I had a high rheumatoid factor, which also came right after the Gardasil shots. So just all these things, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Did you ever even think it could be the vaccines at this stage?
No, right? We all get them. It's you never, yeah. At that point, I never had really even seen or heard people say that a vaccine could do any damage. My third one was January 9th, 2009. And that one was sticks out to me because 20 days later, after a late night rehearsal, I woke up the next morning and could not walk at all on my right ankle. I crawled to my car and drove myself straight to the emergency room because I had a couple dance friends who had stress fractures in their feet and had said that they didn't know until after the fact. So I thought maybe I had some kind of broken something or I did something in rehearsal and I didn't realize it. I went to the hospital, they took x-rays, they said everything was fine, and they said I had arthritis and to start taking some, anti-inflammatories.
More drugs.
Yeah, absolutely. And they sent me on crutches and told me to stay off my foot for two weeks. And I woke up the next day and my foot was fine. It was just a weird flare-up thing.
And so, is it an ongoing thing, or are you cured now?
I'm not cured. I am. So what really was weird is that I was having a lot of wrist and hand pain. And then I was in rehearsal one day and I went to flex my wrist fully and my wrist just didn't go and it was really painful. So my range of motion, this is my original joint where that's all I can do. I can move my hand and my finger's fine, but the actual joint is completely frozen and you can see it's kind of swollen and a little misshapen and it's pretty painful.
That's so weird.
I thought it was Guillain-Barre's. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No worries.
That is not how a wrist should look at all.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful wrist.
So,
that's awful.
This was my original thing. So I went to a rheumatologist for this, and I went to a natural doctor, and then I went to an orthopedic surgeon. I got an MRI. All these things, they're there's nothing wrong. Maybe you have rheumatoid arthritis. First rheumatologist said, no, you don't. Naturopathic doctor said he thought I had gouty arthritis. Then I went to an orthopedic surgeon. He sent me to another rheumatologist. That rheumatologist was like, you have rheumatoid arthritis. Here's some more drugs. And at that time, it was just in my wrist. And he wanted me to take methotrexate, which has a laundry list of side effects, including liver failure, death. And at that point, I had some wrist pain. So I was like, I think I'll take the wrist pain and I won't deal with all your side effects. So I didn't take any of his drugs. And I tried to go the natural, pay attention to what I eat, anti-inflammatory diet. And then about 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, my ankle started bugging me. And it started out slowly. And I had when I was having the traveling pain, I had ankle pain, but it never stuck around. And then just like my wrist, it came on. And all of a sudden, one day, I realized that I could not move my ankle. So I have a limp because my joint is just I don't want to say fused because there's really nothing making it not move. We've taken x-rays and everything is fine. There's no reason for it except for some weird autoimmune something or other that Gardasil kind of activated in my body. Or
when did you put 2 and 2 together and think, oh
my mom did. So she's like, what is happening? This is unacceptable. Did you get a vaccination or something? And she's like, you didn't get that Gardasil vaccination. She straight up asked me that. And I was like, actually, I think I did. And she's like, I want all your medical records for the last 10 years. And I just called all my doctors and she went and picked them up. And she literally just fished through all of them, highlighted this, highlighted that. And she's like, you realize that all your symptoms happened within a month of getting the Gardasil shot, don't you? And I was like, no, what? What do you mean? She's like, yeah. So she was the one who investigated, figured it out.
I actually did research online for several months. I read every article. I read everybody's theories, their views, their ideas, the facts, all of it. And it just broke my heart. It broke my heart that they are putting poison in young women's bodies and calling it a vaccine that isn't even necessary, because HPV, if you have HPV, it disappears within 1 year, it cures itself. So I wrote to the Senate committee, I wrote to Merck, I called Merck, they apologized. I said, oh, so you're going to...
Whoa, Merck apologized?
Yeah, the representative apologized to me. I called and I said, I don't think you understand, your apology can't fix my daughter's injury.
So when you say they apologized, Can you remember the conversation?
When I called, I said, I really want to talk to somebody about Gardasil, and I want the ingredients. They never gave my daughter the ingredients. When she had the shot, they never told her there were side effects and what might be. So she told me how to get the ingredients. So years later, here I am getting the ingredients, and I'm reading the ingredients, and then I'm reading the side effects of the ingredients, and then I'm trying to piece all this together and the syndromes. And I was sending her messages almost every day. Maybe it's Guillain-Barré, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, because so many people doctors were even coming out finally and talking about all of the different syndromes that were happening from Gardasil. So finally I did call them and I said, well, you know what? I tried to talk to a rep with America. Now we can't do that, but I really apologized to you. I said, I don't know what your apology is really going to do. You've destroyed a young woman's life. My daughter can't, she has issues for the rest of her life. And she was, I'm really sorry. She sent me the link to the ingredients, so I read the ingredients, and I just did I did so much, it drove me nuts. You
are an amazing mum, but you got a lot of support here.
Well, I really went through a lot, and I even talked to people that have been injured online, and I've tried to give them little clues to maybe make themselves feel more secure and more advancing, that they're going to get better. I'm not a doctor, I cannot tell you what to take or not to take, but get informed so that you can make decisions outside of regular medicine, because regular medicine is not doing this. It's hurting you more than it's helping you. And that was my opinion.
Okay, so we're going to go back just for a minute. While we're talking with you, let's talk about your flu vaccine injury.
I was always told when I got my flu vaccines that no side effects really. So I just would get them.
Who were given to you, your family doctor?
My family doctor. And I would get them pretty regular. And then all of a sudden, at about from 40 to 50, I'd get them. I started having problems walking. I started having problems, I felt like I was in a trance. I could not make a decision to move or do things. I'd stand there and I would go, things that just were not normal for me, because I was thin. I gained about 50, 60 pounds. I just went through all kinds of horrible stuff. I started reading, learning, started detoxing, serious detoxing. I started just refusing to let whatever was in my body keep me down. Finally, I started standing on stairs. I used to walk upstairs like one step at a time and down the stairs. I'd hold on to the railing. I felt like I was 80, 90 years old, and I was only 40, 50. Within that range when I was getting shots and so I had no clue. And then I started looking at ingredients, side effects of the ingredients in the flu vaccines, and what they really do to the body. And I was all of a sudden I was diagnosed with arthritis. Never had arthritis in my life. All of a sudden I've got it. All of a sudden I had early menopausal problems. And I took this as normal because the doctor never told me that these side effects are possibly going to happen to you. It's just, there's nothing to worry about. And then it just pieced, and then I quit taking the vaccine. I never got a flu shot again. And that helped.
Would either of you ever put a vaccine of any kind inside you?
I struggle with this question because I can't say that they haven't helped eradicate, specific crazy diseases, So it's hard to say that, but I think that nowadays there's maybe some additives that are affecting people way more adversely than has ever been in the past. So I don't think I would. I want to travel a lot, but anytime I hear that there's a vaccine that you need to travel someplace, I'm like, all right, I probably won't see that area. That's okay. Mm-hmm.
I truly believe that they know exactly what those poisons do to our body and our minds and our health. I truly believe that they have no care whatsoever the synthetics that they are putting in non-synthetic bodies. And I truly believe that some of their sinister intent is exactly that. They know what they're doing, and they don't seem to care how many stories come out about it, how many people land in wheelchairs, how many people have had to change their entire life because they've lost their ability and they've been lied to or communicated to about the real side effects of what these drugs are doing. I think we really need to get some kind of control here. When I read some of the stories and I talk to some of the people online, I talk to some of your vax people that you've done interviews with that I meet, it just makes me cry. These are people.
Every vaccine as well.
Everyone, not just Gardasil, not just a flu vaccine, but every one of them. Babies dying because they're given 32 vaccines. Why? Why? What doctor would give a baby 32 vaccines?
Your mum is really, really smart, by the way. Right, now everybody loves you both. I'm going to show you how much they love you. You ready for this? You ready, Periscope? And there's We Are Vax as well, which is a bit more difficult with We Are Vax. See those hearts here?
Oh,
That's
wow.
pretty cool.
That's adorable.
That's for you guys.
Adorable.
Aw.
Yes.
That. So you can watch this back and see how much you're loved. And I'm sure, are you getting love coming in over there as well from We Are Vax? Look, it's going on and on and on.
Look at
And I
that.
know
That
they're
is
all
so crazy.
concerned that you, but I think you've got a tough mum. I think you'll be fine.
If she just saves some lives from this stuff, you know.
There's more hearts coming in, so you do need to go and look. There's still coming in for you. So thank you both so much.
Thank you for having
And
us.
I do hope you stay and watch Vax, and I would like you to meet Dr. Suzanne actually. I'm lining you up. Poor Suzanne's getting a break at all. I'm lining everybody up to see her. Alright, we're coming off Periscope and we have more stories for you.